Hey Supernatural family, this is Emily from Supernatural on the Rocks. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Don't you cry no more.
Hello, welcome to Supernatural on the Rocks. I am Emily.
And I'm Mandy.
And this is something different. This is going to be the Winchesters Weekly, I think is what we're going to call it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. We decided that because recording season by season of Supernatural, which we are doing, and season 6 will be on the way shortly.
Yeah.
And because Jensen Ackles is just as fucked up over Supernatural as we are and has decided to make a prequel called The Winchesters, that we would do a weekly recap of that for you and with you. Because why not?
Yep. I do like that we started Supernatural on the Rocks thinking it's going to be like 15 episodes, an episode a season, which it's not. And then like Jensen was just like, nah, you thought.
You thought wrong. That was cute. We're just going to give you a whole other show to talk about. I guess I appreciate that. Maybe.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Because it is a little stressful to watch a whole season and then like have the podcast as like the deadline.
Yeah, it's super stressful trying to remember a whole fucking season of a TV show.
So
that was our bad. But
this breaking it up and having something a little more like easier to will be nice.
So we are going to attempt to do it just week by week along with the show. Because I think that's how weekly recap podcasts work.
I think. I mean, we've only covered shows already off the air so far. So
yep.
This is new ground.
This is new ground for us. But we're going to take a crack at it. Because, you know, people make fun of fans for caring about a show that's no longer on the air. But I think if the star of that show is just as obsessed with it as the fans are, I think that makes it okay.
And he is obsessed.
He is so obsessed. It's fantastic.
When I first saw the concept for the Winchesters, the whole like drama with Jared on Twitter and stuff, I didn't actually think the show would get made. I don't know why. I just assumed it was like something they were talking about maybe in like 5 years. But no, they just really like...
Yeah.
He made up his mind and he made that happen.
I think Jensen Ackles found out that Supernatural was ending and he was like, not on my watch.
Yeah.
I can't hang up these boots. I've got nothing else.
Good for him. I'm excited about the potential for other people showing.
Oh, 100%.
That'll be kind of nice.
You've got ageless characters.
Yeah.
So, and not ageless, actors.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I don't know that the CW has the same budget as movies that can de-age certain people.
They don't have that kind of CGI tech.
No, especially when they're broke. Dead broke network making a Supernatural show. So that'll be super fun. But yeah, we're going to take a crack at it, and hopefully these will be fast and kind of loose because the show is happening in real time, and we're not going to be able to look back on 15 seasons and be like, see, this is what happened, and this is how it's going. And
we can't really, like, connect the dots, because there's one dot right now. There's
one dot, and obviously we can look forward into Supernatural, but that might be dangerous because... obviously, there is what happens in Supernatural, but it's kind of hard to tell so far how much of that he's sticking to.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to avoid spoilers, not even really on purpose, just because I think it'll be more interesting to do the podcast.
Definitely.
If it's like genuine surprises. But I did catch a couple of things.
Well, should we do a quick, like, this is season 1, episode 1, and here's the plot.
Oh, yeah. But I guess let's do that.
like a proper show.
Yeah.
I mean, the basic rundown is John Winchester and Mary Campbell meet for the first time, and their lives are changed forever. Ta-da! It was written by Robbie Thompson and directed by Glenn Winter, and that's all I've got.
Oh, that's the basics.
Short and sweet. Yep.
Yeah. And there's not a lot to the episode. I mean,
No.
like it's a basic setup, but it just seems like an introduction to anyone who doesn't know what the is.
Yes, I do feel bad for anyone trying to watch the show without having seen Supernatural because they throw you in.
They do, yeah. I don't know. It's
It is
not the best character development and it's not the best world building explanation, but it's like they're trying to do both in a short amount of time.
They really expect that you have seen Supernatural if you were watching the Winchesters, which I'm kind of okay with. I don't know that I would watch a prequel to a show that's been on air for 20 years and not do my homework.
I would love to see the numbers as to how many are first-time viewers.
Oh, yeah. If you are listening to this podcast and you have not seen Supernatural, 1, why? And 2, are you watching the Winchesters having not seen Supernatural? We can put a poll out on Instagram, I guess, about that. Like, does anyone know anyone watching the Winchesters without having seen Supernatural?
The only way I could see it happening is if any of the actors have a like independent fan base that they're bringing in, but I didn't recognize any of them. That doesn't necessarily mean they haven't done other things, but none of them seemed like. I feel like you and I are both in fandom spaces enough that if they had a big following, we'd know.
They are getting kind of young, though. So
that's true. That's true.
If their fandom is TikTok based, then I'm out. Because that happens to me sometimes where someone's like, oh, they're super famous. Like, where? TikTok? No. Doesn't count. But yeah, do we want to just start with the plot or some of the things that we caught that are...
We could do the plot first and then nitpick it a little.
You know, that thing that we do.
Yeah.
So it's 1972, right?
I definitely had trouble figuring out the math on when it was supposed to be.
I think it was 1972, and we have kind of an unknown... The cold open is kind of an unknown man in a crypt with an Indiana Jones hat, and we get the Men of Letters sigil on this thing that he is opening, kind of exploring. So it seems pretty clear that the Winchesters is going to be very heavy into the Men of Letters, which... I don't know if this is like retconning or maybe a little backsliding, but if I remember in Supernatural, and again, we haven't gotten this far in our rewatch, but the Men of Letters are like a big surprise.
I was going to say, watching it, I don't really know. I mean, I sort of know from like context clues what the Men of Letters are, but I didn't watch that Supernatural.
Yeah.
So I'm a little lost.
They're like a collective of hunters who have... spaces around the country and internationally. Although I don't know that this is now a spoiler for the show, but they were like, and kind of more powerful humans at times because they're like above veteran hunters in their knowledge of ancient and powerful magic. But they have these like bunkers and other hidden spaces where they keep all their books and their magic shit. And they kind of pass it down through the generations. And then there's a space that Dean and Sam find in the later seasons that then they call like their home base, the bunker.
Okay, yeah.
And that's a Men of Letters location. And then they get like free power and internet for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. That's a thing, like, because I've read a lot of Destiel fic. And I was always like, oh, apparently they just found this place that was like fully set up.
Yes.
Sure, why not?
Yep, that's the Men of Letters bunker. And it's got like dozens of rooms and a gym that apparently they just like never fucking use, and unlimited water pressure and electricity and a garage, which is fine because at some point they have to stop living out of motels or not, who knows. But so that sigil is a Men of Letters sigil, and the place that they find in this episode in the tomb, is it a tomb or is it like a crypt? The crypt is a Men of Letters crypt. So it's all tied together. But I don't know. I kind of wish that had been held back
a bit.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the first episode, so I think we'll really just have to see where this all goes. But in Supernatural, it was like a relief for Sam and Dean to have a place to go that wasn't the Impala or a motel that had like lore and magic shit that sometimes fucked them up, and spell books and ingredients that were like on hand that they didn't have to continuously hunt down. And now they have it in step one. So hopefully it's not a crutch for them. But again, it's like the pilot, so sometimes it's hard to judge.
Yeah.
In the cold open, there's someone who turns out to be Mary Campbell's dad, who was looking for a magic box. Because you have to have magical artifacts, right? Obviously. So that was like a flashback of a flash. Because this whole thing is a flashback, right? Like, but he was hunting for this box, Indiana Jones style. And then the beginning of the episode is really John Winchester coming back from Vietnam, which we knew about him.
Yeah. That was all very like, I mean, I don't really envy them having to try and make something new for audiences, but also knowing that everyone watching probably already knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to do the setup, but also the setup is kind of boring.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, is the show going to be about Vietnam? Because I don't want to watch a show about Vietnam. I want to watch a show about vampires. Sorry to all the veterans. Like, I have veterans in my family. It's not what I'm looking for in a CW show. But John and Mary running into each other outside of Slaughterhouse 5 in the theater is the same story that Dean told Mary, his own mother, right, when she comes back from the dead. Which, if you haven't watched Supernatural, this makes no sense. This is the story that we already heard in Supernatural. So now we're watching it in real time with some slight variations. So I'm very curious about how the show is going to deal with the fact that we know some pieces of their history. Because, like, if I remember when Dean went back in time, John Winchester knew fuck all about the supernatural. Like, that was the big thing, is that Mary was hiding it from him.
So that is, this is extremely vague. I'm actually going to make it even vaguer than what I read. But basically, like, I read the showrunners, or I can't remember the name now. I totally did my research, saying that even if it seems like it's not following the timeline, just wait. There'll be something in season 1 that'll make it, like, make sense.
Okay.
So
are they going to erase his memory?
I was going to say, it's a sci-fi show. There's any number of things they could do. But it was kind of nice to hear that they weren't entirely throwing continuity out the window.
Yep.
It's not like that would have been completely unexpected. I'm sure Supernatural itself contradicts itself plenty.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But it is so nice that they're at least not... They're going to try to do their homework.
Yeah. And I saw somewhere recently, and I think it was... They just had... maybe that was at the CW Upfronts or something that Jensen was at. And I think it was his wife talking about Jensen just being a repository of Dean lines and like Dean and Supernatural info, that he just knows the show inside and out. Which is adorable.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
He just, like, especially if you think of like his whole history at conventions, and what he has and has not said about the characters in the show and things like that, and now all of a sudden he gets the chance to be like the Supernatural encyclopedia. That's kind of adorable, to be like a 45-year-old gruff cowboy and being like, but actually Dean would not say that.
He's about to put all of these stands to shame.
Yeah, he's getting to write his own fanfic, and I think that's adorable.
Oh, he really is. I hadn't thought of it quite like that, but that's literally
it is. He's writing self-insert Dean fic. It's adorable. So good for him. And speaking of, Mary Campbell calls John Winchester Soldier Boy twice.
Oh, yeah.
Which, come on, buddy. Come on. We meet John. I'm going to keep crossing their names. John Winchester's mother, Millie. I had to look up her name because I feel like they didn't even say it in the show. Who is a mechanic. which I guess is where Dean gets his mechanic skills from.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of like that, like, nod.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really see, like, too much of Millie's character, but,
And they own a garage, the Winchester garage,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool, and that she's running it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I hope she doesn't die in 3 episodes, given Supernatural's track record.
Yeah.
And
They
I guess
are setting themselves up there.
I know. It's like they've got characters lined up to die.
Yeah, and they're all, and I appreciate the, like, diversity of the cast, but I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to be careful about who you kill.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. Yep. At this, like, ooh, watch it. Yeah. We find out that John's dad, so Dean's grandfather, right? Walked out on them, which is why John enlisted. So we get in some backstory.
Daddy issues
all around, because Mary has daddy issues as well. They both have daddy issues, which does make me wonder about Jensen's father.
Yeah, that's starting to be a little trend there.
Yep, I do have wonder. I don't know anything about his parents. Don't super care, other than, like, are you working some stuff out? Like,
you okay there, bud?
Do you need a therapist to talk about this? Because, like, in Supernatural, it was the other writers, but, like, this is on you. Yeah. Whoa. There's a line, I think it comes from Millie, who says, it's time to let the past go. And I was like, okay, Jensen, you're literally making a prequel to the show that you were on for 20 years. Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
So John has a letter and a key that he was given to by, how does he put it? Like a man who just disappears into thin air. And that the rumors there, or some fandom chitter chatter, is that is Cass.
Oh, okay. That didn't occur to me, but all right.
Because the letter and the key brings them to the bunker, the Men of Letters crypt. And it came from John's dad, whose name I am utterly blanking on at the moment. All I can think of is Samuel, but that's Samuel Campbell.
Yeah.
What are their names? Okay. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. Henry Winchester.
Okay.
So this is when John runs into Mary again, because he is attacked by a creature, a demon. Our first Winchester's demon. And badass Mary, who's got some, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer karate moves.
She's definitely a little OP, but, you know.
Yeah,
I guess she's had the lifetime of training, I guess. That's at least a little bit of explanation there.
Yep. Exorcises the demon in front of a newbie. Doesn't seem to care that there's no, like, laws, like Harry Potter style, about showing off your magical prowess in Supernatural. They don't seem to care that they just leave people behind thinking, like, oh, there's fucking black smoke coming out of that dude's mouth. Weird. But yeah, so she just straight up tells John about demons, which I guess is one way to get past any, don't worry about it, you didn't see anything, there's nothing to see here, don't worry. So they connect on the fact that they're both looking for their missing dads.
And I wonder if issues. I was going to say, I wonder if the daddy issues are going to be, obviously they're setting up, like, it's going to play into the season, but is it going to be a series of daddy issues, kind of like Supernatural was?
I'm assuming.
I'm wondering if they're going to, like, go more towards the, like, original Supernatural seasons, like the first few where, like, each season was an arc, or if they're going to set up from the very start that it's going to be a series-long thing.
Yeah. I mean, I liked that the first seasons of Supernatural, we talked about this in those episodes, that they have, like, contained arcs.
Yeah. I hope they do that. I hope they're not like, we're just going to go ahead and plan this will last 20 seasons and draw the shit out.
Please, God. Please don't.
Please don't.
Because I guess we're assuming that John Winchester is a good dude up until when Mary dies on the ceiling.
True. He's not really a good dude afterwards.
No. So I guess they can play with his character not sucking up until then. Because right now he's just kind of, like, a dude.
Yeah.
A dude who has silver shrapnel in his arm from his dead friend. That's weird. That's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got full PTSD from Vietnam, which is understandable. But he did have it's not like Chekhov's shrapnel. It's because well, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a funny, like, here, let me use the shrapnel in my arm to defeat a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. If it was that easy to take out, why didn't the doctors just take it out before?
That was the thought I had as I was watching that scene. I was like, oh, I feel like you should be a little more, I don't know, might want to question those doctors.
Yeah, like, oh, we can't take it out. Yeah. I'll just use my pocket knife. All right. Cool. Yeah. So they get access to this Metal Letters bunker, just like Sam and Dee. And very quickly, John realizes that his dad had a locker there, gets the journal. I think it's the same journal from Supernatural, John's journal.
Yeah, I
couldn't quite tell. Mary very quickly finds a file that her dad was looking for. It's very kind of easy, right? Like, grab this and grab this and grab this. You're like, Jesus, all right. And then we cut to Lubbock, Texas, and Ada's Rare Books, where a demon possesses a woman named Ada, who was the person that Samuel Winchester? Campbell,
yeah.
who is Mary's dad, was talking to and working with. So now we have like a little bad. A little bad? Big bad? Not quite sure. Yeah.
A minor bad.
It's like, this episode is very much about like putting pieces out on the chessboard before bringing them together.
Yeah.
Kind of just like setting things up. Like, here we're looking for a box that does stuff, and here's a journal, and here's a file, and here's some people that may or may not be important later.
And here's a bunch of convenient information that will tell you how we kill these demons, because you have to explain it all to our, like, what's the word for, like, the fresh eyes character, like the perspective character.
Oh, yes, the audience insert, the audience. What are they called? There's another word for that too, but the audience.
I'm blanking on it. But
I know, me too.
We have that character, so of course everything's got to be explained to him in detail. So.
Surrogate, the audience surrogate.
Yeah.
Yep. So, because now it's time to go on a bit of a hunt. Mary goes to the library, which seems like a very public place to keep her supplies.
Yeah.
But we do meet.
She has a friend there, fellow pacifist hunter.
I guess, yeah.
Don't really know how that works, but Latika, is that her name?
I think so. Yeah, Latika, and they call her something else.
I
can't remember her nickname.
Character. Like, of all of the like characters in the first episode, I think I like her best so far, which immediately makes me fear.
Oh, sure, yeah. Or that she'll just be kind of useless.
Yeah.
Because she seems like they're going to set her up as the researcher if she's going to be the pacifist. But yeah, I feel like maybe they need a better place to stock up on their salt rounds than the public library front desk. Because she just opens up a case like in the middle of the library, like, hello, here are my bullets. Not great. And then our second new friend is Carlos. Do you love Carlos as much as everyone else loves Carlos?
I like Carlos. I need to see more of Carlos.
Yep.
I feel like, I don't want to say stereotype.
No, I get it.
A little bit of a stereotype. And I think that Jensen, I guess this is what I was saying earlier, like, I think that Jensen was very aware. Supernatural was a very white male cast.
Yep.
And they're trying to diversify some, getting those gay characters in before the third to last episode.
Yeah. Yes.
And, some non-white characters, and it's good, but, like, if the only two people who are going to be safe are John and Mary, and they're the only two straight white cast members, I'm just afraid for who else they're going to kill. I'm going to be afraid to get attached to anyone.
Yes.
I mean, I like Ada, I like Carlos, I like Latika. Latika? I don't know how to say that.
Latika?
I think it's Latika.
Latika.
I like them. I'm just like, I mean, they can't not kill people because
that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they're not the only diverse characters on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see some background characters, although it is Kansas in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I guess for some realism, it's not going to be big city, I guess.
It seems like they travel.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with Carlos, they mentioned Tupelo, which is a city in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, interesting. I mean, I think it was just like a joke reference type thing, a laugh.
Because it's a funny word.
Yeah.
Tupelo.
But I would like travel some different places, see some different types of people.
Yeah, me too. So good luck to them. We'll see how long you last. And, you know, I'm very curious. So pilots of TV shows often look different and have different tones than the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what the second episode looks and sounds like. You've seen House, right?
I have, yes.
You know how different the first episode of House looked than the rest? Like, that's a very obvious example, but quite often the pilot doesn't quite look like the rest. So I'm curious how much of the tone changes between the pilot and the rest of the series.
Would you prefer, because I mean, the pilot definitely had a specific feel to it.
Yeah.
Like the color grading and everything. They were trying to really drive home, this is the 1970s.
Yes.
Would you prefer they keep that up or like drop that and just trust that we know it's the 1970s?
I think the sepia color grading could ease up a little bit.
It was a lot.
It was very graded, and I thought it was a little much.
Yeah.
But like we talked about in the Supernatural episodes, some of that had to do with that they were like film cameras and they weren't digital yet, but the look of the first 4 seasons of Supernatural was so good with that kind of darker, grainy, you felt like you were in it added to it. So if they can find a grittiness that fits with the Midwest or wherever they find themselves, I think that's good to make your show different than the rest of the shows around it. Like, I don't want the Winchesters to look like Vampire Diaries, and I don't want it to look like Walker or the others.
I just want a little less of the sepia tone.
Just a little less sepia. And that's that's what I was getting at with like the pilot not looking the same. Like, I think they just need to take the color grading down a bit and make sure that the clothes. So none of these assholes were talking like it was the 70s.
No,
they didn't even try.
No.
There were phrasing and comments that were like, are you on TikTok? Like, what the fuck are you saying? These are not words that people used 40 years ago, 45 years ago. Like, no, 50. Like, damn, chill.
I guess it's like funny because Jensen is not old enough to have really been around then either.
Right. And obviously
like
the writer.
It's the one situation where you're like, all right, can we get some 60-year-old men in the writing room?
Yeah, let's get some white guys from Kansas in there and have them do a pass on the script.
The one reason why that would need to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some times where they were speaking and I was like, hold on. Okay. I need you to not say that. I can't remember what it was now. I should have written it down. We should have some like anachronism takes. Like, whoa. That is wrong. I mean, I know it's not a realism show, but if you're going to say that if they're going to be wearing bell bottoms and fringe, then you're making an attempt. And even Mary's makeup, it's like, what, is she a goth? What the fuck? Doing? What year is it?
And like with the clothes, they were trying with the clothes. I get it. But like,
it did look like they went to Buffalo Exchange though.
Yeah. Especially John. And I mean, John's wearing like kind of a, timeless, I guess, style, but that's the problem. It is like, it might be something he would have worn in the 70s, but it's also something they'd wear now. So if they were trying to really establish like a time, that the clothing could have, but I think they just also wanted to appeal to Gen Z right now.
Yes. Yeah. Wait, I mean, I get it. Of all the things, and I'm like Supernatural. They wore jeans and flannel for 20 years. Like, there was no style shift with them. It all kind of, well, their jeans got tighter. I have noticed that in the seasons like 1 through 6, their jeans are a bit loose and a bit wide in the leg, and that's not for me. I don't know why people are wearing the things they're wearing now, other than people like to change. Whatever. I'm not going to buy new clothes every 4 years because trends. So fuck off. But yeah, so the 70s gear, I was like, you guys have Hollywood at your disposal. Go get costume. But again, it's the pilot, right? Like, you don't always have the same budget at your expense that you do when the show's picked up. So maybe that'll change. We'll find out. I want some hardcore fucking realism in the CW show.
Because that's what CW is known for.
It's known for their realism. Yeah. So I guess we can say some more plot happens.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Samuel Campbell, get their names right, and Ada have been working together to look for these men of letters locations. And Samuel needs some schematics from the bunker to open this box that we saw someone take in the cold open. And it's a monster trap, which is actually kind of like a cool bit of artifact.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe something the boys could have used in Supernatural is a Ghostbuster style trap that if you can open, it sucks in monsters.
That would have been very useful. That would have saved them some like angst and possibly a few side character deaths.
Yeah. Like, you just open a box and monsters get sucked into it? Like, damn. What happened to this box in the next 30 years? That'll be interesting to me every time they come up with, like, a cool artifact or an item. Like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Like, why don't Sam and Dean have this?
Yeah.
Or if they find out, obviously John is going to be writing shit in his journal that Sam and Dean then read. But, like, where does the stuff go? Because we do know that John Winchester has a lock, like a storage locker that they find and then stop going to at some point. So where does all this shit
go? Reach the end of what was in the storage locker.
I guess they're like, okay, there's nothing else here.
You bet.
It's like we run out of those God items.
Yeah.
At some point, like, God just runs out of stuff.
That's a good question. I'm going to be thinking about that while I watch Supernatural now.
Yeah. No more cool shit to defeat things for you. Where did that go? So, also,
it might have been useful to use some of those items more than once, guys.
Right? The sword? Like, where? What? Where did it? Yeah. These are reusable, my dude.
Yeah. They're not one-time use.
Did you just throw it away? Ugh. Idiots. Just thinking, like, Cass is out there like, no, don't leave it. Yeah. I worked so hard for that. I gave up everything to get that, and you just
tossed it. Didn't even recycle it.
Why do I love you? Shit. Spoiler?
Yeah.
That's actually funny if you think about it, too. Like, right now, Castiel is like a badass angel soldier man out there, and he has no idea how ruined his life is going to be soon. Poor guy.
Met the himbo of his dreams yet.
Warning to anyone listening to this podcast for the first time, this is a Destiel Truther podcast. Get out now.
Spanish subtitles only.
Trending on Twitter.
Yes.
Hilarious. So, yes. Where were we? Oh, Latika is the one who is the brains of the operation. So she is going to be the one responsible for figuring out how to open the monster box. Because there are schematics, and it seems a bit easy, but I guess that's okay. Like, it takes her a car ride to be like, oh yeah, these ruins, and you just go like this, and it opens. Like, okay, that's fair.
It's starter puzzle material.
Yeah, so I guess this box is, like, not the most important thing that they've ever come across. Sure, I'll take it. So meanwhile, so Mary is also, so they're searching for this box. They're also... Mary's backstory is that she is also looking for her dad because when she finds him, she is going to walk away from hunting. Like Dean, she doesn't want this life. Like mother, like son. She, I guess, she can't walk away without finding her dad. I'm not totally sure how that works. But she's going to leave this life and be a real person, I guess. Who knows what she's going to do, though. We know how that ends for her. Not well. So this is where we go back to the tomb from the beginning. Mary feels the need to take untrained non-hunter John down to the tomb and not one of the trained hunters. Yeah.
Like, he has proven himself zero capable.
Yeah. Like, no skills.
No. No offense to him. It just seems like a very like specialized type of, you know, you wouldn't want to just grab any rando off the street.
No.
But that's what
he could be like super good in Vietnam, but like, this is a monster.
Yep.
Which shows up, and very luckily could be destroyed by Silver, which John just happens to have embedded in his arm.
And we get that nice like running explanation. Like, this does not involve like any kind of detailed explanation. It's just like, oh, here's what it is. Here's how we kill it. Let's do this on the run.
Yep. I love it. Again, I'm just trying to imagine someone turning on the Winchesters for the first time and being like, what?
Yeah.
What? But that's how we watch Supernatural too. So like, good luck. Right. So John digs a piece of the silver necklace from his BFF who was exploded in front of him in Vietnam out of his arm and takes a very tiny shard of it to attack a big monster. So he's got guts.
That shard does a lot of damage for being a tiny.
It really does. I guess it's more that it's silver.
Yeah. It's still like, it's an interesting reaction. I also hope their CGI gets a little better with a better budget.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't the worst CGI, but
no,
it could be better.
It was CW CGI.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll let them have it. Meanwhile, up top, possessed Ada shows up to attack Carlos and Latika. So that sucks for them. But obviously, everything is going to be okay because it's the pilot. And the new Scooby Gang cannot die in the pilot. Although that would have been an interesting turn of events.
Yeah.
To have one of the new characters die in the pilot. But I don't think this show is going to be that dark that soon.
It doesn't, and I wondered about that before I watched it, because like sometimes they try to go grittier with, I mean, this isn't a reboot, but they try to go grittier with something just to like set it apart from whatever it spawned from. Like the new Star Treks, the new, you know, we've got a lot of CW-ish reboots going on. Riverdale, Sabrina, things like that.
Yep.
Even the new Gossip Girl, things that were originally out in like the same era that Supernatural premiered in that came back grittier. They do not seem to be wanting to do that at all. They like, this feels like it's going to be Supernatural level plots.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, the early Supernatural has always thrown in some goofy humor.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got Carlos with his wisecracks, and I think they're going to continue that trend here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so they do use the monster box to capture, they capture the demon that was in Ada. We don't know where that, like, does the demon just live in the box?
Yeah, can you not open the box again?
Yeah, like, what if you want to capture another monster? Can you do that?
Is that actually a one-time use one?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one makes sense.
And then, like, what do you do with the box? Can you destroy it and then destroy the thing inside, or do you just have to keep it on a shelf?
They have a demon closet. You're not supposed to open the demon closet.
Yeah. That seems dangerous to, like...
Do not knock things over in the demon closet.
No. Like, warning, don't touch, which then someone's going to touch at some point and let out everything. So good luck with that. And, you know, at the end, everyone's like, yay, we did it. John opts to join the group. Although I don't think he was invited. He just opts to join them and hunt monsters with Mary, which is not what he did in the first iteration, the way we heard about it in Supernatural, but this is fine. But he's also not going to get a job. So I don't know who's paying rent. Like, is he going to live with his mom and not work at the garage?
That would be kind of funny if he's just like, you know, every 3 or 4 episodes, it's just him hitting up Millie being like, hey, Mom, can I have a couple $100?
Yeah. Or because, like, they don't get paid to hunt, which would be kind of a fun... Well, remember in that one later episode in Supernatural, or maybe you never saw it, Sam and Dean run into, like, alternate versions of themselves where they do get paid to hunt.
Oh, wow.
And they're like,
I have not seen that.
oh, it's funny because they're like bougie versions in polos and sweater vests, and they have private jets flying them around, and they drink lattes.
I have seen the stills of them in the
Yeah.
sweater vest.
Yeah.
I know I would not have been able to tell you what it was from, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
So it's not like he's gonna make money. So how is he? Whatever. Okay, we'll get there. Maybe we'll find out.
Okay.
And then so we find out that this box, this magic box that now has a demon in it, is the only thing that can kill the Akrita, which is, I think, the big bad of the season, and who knows, maybe the series. Well, I don't know. A malevolent force that wants to wipe out everything and take over the entire world. And we find this out from Mr. Dean Winchester himself, who is standing on an empty road in front of the Impala, writing in a note where this is and when this is up for debate.
Yeah.
There are some clues.
Yeah. Do we want to talk theories?
I think we can talk theories now because, like, we've been through the episode. There's really not much else to say because there's no other episodes to connect it to. We can talk about the characters themselves, but like it's been 42 minutes of TV. Yeah. They seem fine. The actors did what they did. Yeah. The actress that plays Mary Campbell, Meg Donnelly, looks a lot like Claire, who's Jimmy Novak's daughter. So that's a little off. It's not off-putting. It's just kind of like, is that Claire? No, it's not Claire. But yeah, I think we can talk about some of the theories about narrator Dean.
My first thought, and I think a common one, he's in heaven. Mm-hmm. Spoilers. Supernatural. Spoilers, everyone dies eventually.
Yeah, they all die a couple times.
But yeah, so what do you think? Do you think they're going to go that obvious, or are they going to throw some?
I don't know. The heaven one is obviously on deck. Mm-hmm. Because Dean is fucking dead. And I forgot to write down the theory around his clothes because I never pay that much attention to his clothes, but people have identified his jacket and where his jacket comes from.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to write that one down. Dean has time traveled before, and even if he doesn't want to say it out loud, I think Jensen hates the ending to Supernatural. And I think it would be really funny if he rewrote the ending without Jared's involvement.
Oh, that would be funny.
This is a anti-Jared podcast. Sorry. So narrator Dean has the amulet that baby Sam gave him hanging in the rearview mirror of the Impala. But in season 5, Dean threw that amulet away. But in season 10, he got a replacement.
Okay, so really that doesn't,
which he hung on the Impala rearview mirror.
Huh.
And in this end scene, the amulet is hanging from the rearview mirror. So there's that. And in this end scene, the Impala has the original Kansas license plates. But in season 2, they switched to Ohio license plates. However, the Heaven Impala also has the original Kansas plates. So I don't I mean, these are obviously things they did on purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say they specifically made it so you feel like you're getting clues, but also they don't tell you anything really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would not put it past, like, is Dean in heaven, like, writing the story of his parents? Like, maybe. While he waits for Cass to do the laundry? Probably.
Yeah.
Or did he travel back in time at some point? Maybe. I don't know yet. Yeah. But I did forget to write down which jacket. I can't remember if it's the jacket that he's wearing in the last scene in heaven or not. I do feel like he'd get to change his clothes, though.
Yeah. Unless he just doesn't care about it.
That's true. He's like, fuck it.
Whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. Adjusters. I don't want his leather coat. This might take me too long. Can buy it for $109. All right. Well, maybe I can find it and put it in the show notes or something. But yeah, so other people probably have other theories about when this is, but I feel like the heaven is probably theory number 1, and then they fall after that.
So heaven, time travel,
Mm-hmm.
or actually set somewhere
Mm-hmm.
during the show.
Oh, sure. Yeah, forgot about that.
I mean, I feel like that's not a popular one, but also...
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Set somewhere during the show, like, hey, remember that month Dean was gone?
That summer he was away.
Yeah.
He did a lot of creative writing.
That summer he was in a fight with Cass. He took off. Yeah, that'd be funny. Would you be okay with that? I don't know if I'd be okay with that.
I don't know. It wouldn't be my top choice.
Mm-hmm. What would your top choice be? Or something we haven't thought of yet?
I was going to say, I think that my top choice is something that we haven't thought of. Like, I would like a proper twist. Because the other thing I saw, and again, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but since there's no context for any of these, it was someone responding to the "Where's Sam?" question, and the answer they gave was, if there's a Dean, there is a Sam. So it's not direct confirmation that he's going to factor into it, but it seemed to kind of indicate that.
Interesting.
I mean, it could just be that they're both in heaven, but
right.
I would prefer something more creative and less obvious.
Yeah, that's true. Which is almost like, meh, I don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't particularly need Sam there either.
Yeah.
So.
I don't need Sam. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm terrible as I like, meh.
Yeah.
It's not that we hate Sam. We're just like, eh.
I'm very, like, apathetic towards Sam.
Yeah, me too.
It's like he serves a good purpose on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just don't always enjoy watching the character.
Same. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do we have any things we want to add?
I think that's all I have for now. I'm curious to see what's going to happen next, and like you said, how different the pilot is from what we get next.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Yeah. And it's going to be hard not to think about the things in Supernatural that are like continuity.
Yeah.
But I think we can't focus on that, but it's going to be hard not to.
Yeah.
Because I think the better, it's going to be hard to say because, like, this is what we do with Glee, too. Like, I think the better way to enjoy the show is going to be just to watch the show.
Yeah. And I am genuinely going to try and give this, like, the most benefit of the doubt I can.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go into it looking to dislike.
Yeah.
I hope that they have learned from some mistakes Supernatural made.
Yes.
And I want it to be, like, entertaining and good.
Yeah, me too. I want to have fun.
Yep.
I want to enjoy, like, 42 minutes of TV.
Yeah. And I think that's my bottom line for, this pilot.
Yeah, same.
Like, thumbs up, keep going. Ready to watch.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Jensen. And like, if you want to come on the podcast and like talk to us about it, we're totally chill with that.
Absolutely. Or Misha, if you just have thoughts you want to share, Misha, go ahead.
Yeah, Misha, if you have theories that you haven't been able to talk about, and if you want to like pimp the next season of Bridgewater, totally into it, because we'll talk about that too. But yeah, if you just have like theories that you're ready to chat about, we're here for you.
Jared, we will retweet you on Twitter if you want.
We are open to retweets.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're calendars full.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just got a lot on our book.
We're so busy. Yeah. So that is the pilot of the Winchesters. We're excited to watch because we are filthy Supernatural stans. Yep. And
I'm positive we will have some more divisive opinions.
Surely. Yeah.
As we watch.
Yep. And, kids are out there these days hopping from fandom to fandom, and I don't think they realize that you can stick with the same fandom for 20 years.
Did you get that quote directly from Jensen?
I did. We had a conversation the other day about it. Yeah.
But yeah, it is true, and it is a very rewarding experience. Not that I stuck with Supernatural the whole time, but I came back to it, so
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
It really is kind of rewarding, though, to like still like a thing this long after it aired.
That's me with Star Trek. It's me with X-Files.
I was thinking of the X-Files because like there's a channel that airs a couple episodes every night, and I just kind of like let it play in the background, like, oh, there they are, my loves.
They're like old friends.
They are old friends.
And I'm ready for this show to feel like, I don't know, your old friend's cousin.
Yeah.
You're related to your old friend, so
Yeah.
they count. They count. You
They
still
count.
get some warm and fuzzies.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, there's that show I like.
Yeah.
So let us know what you guys thought of the Winchesters. If you're watching, if you're not watching, why? If you're waiting for some episodes to pile up. If you are so young that you don't remember appointment TV, this is what it feels like. You have to wait a week to watch the next episode. And it's annoying sometimes. But there's anticipation in that. And it's kind of fun.
And thanks to the world today, if you finish the episode and you're impatient and you want more, you can pull up your favorite podcast. Hint, hint.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us. So yeah, thank you for
Or
listening.
a podcast you tolerate.
Or a podcast you listen to once in a while.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, I guess, at SPN on the Rocks. If you like Glee, we have another, or if you hate Glee, that's the other key point here. Yeah. Our other podcast is Glee on the Rocks, and we have a shit ton of episodes there for you to listen to. And if you would like to support either podcast, or if you don't want to, we have a Patreon where we do a ton of mini episodes where we talk about lots of other random things. And that is patreon.com/Glee on the Rocks. And you don't have to do any of those things. You can just listen to this and carry on with your day or night. And I think that's everything. So we will catch you next week on Supernatural on the Rocks, Winchester Weekly.
Yep. Have a good week.
Bye.
You've been listening to Supernatural on the Rocks, a podcast by OTR Productions. A huge thank you to our sound editor, Adriana, and our podcasts, who secretly run the show. For more episodes, download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and more at SPN on the Rocks. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can subscribe to our Patreon account at patreon.com/Glee on the Rocks. Subscribers get ad-free episodes, exclusive mini-episodes deep diving into the fandom, salty opinions, and more. So until next time, this has been The Road That Was.